A few years ago, my brother stood on a similar stage and spoke about leaving a legacy. At the back of my mind, there was a nagging thought. If this legacy is built, how is it expected to be maintained? How are you sure that this legacy will not crumble to ashes the minute you go 6 feet under? How do you leave a legacy? Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mimi Fatima Ambata, and I'm here to speak to you all about having the courage to live your own legacy. What do you call that feeling of wanting to make your parents proud? That feeling of wanting to do something so great others will want to emulate and follow in the footsteps of. That feeling of wanting to leave your footprint in the sands of time. That is the urge to leave a legacy. That is a legacy. Who here doesn't know Nelson Mandela, the giant of South Africa, the freedom fighter? Who here doesn't know Elon Musk, the creator of the Tesla, one of the richest, if not richest man in the entire world? Who here doesn't know Martin Luther King Jr. with his famous "I Have a Dream" speech? All of these are famous people who have left a legacy for themselves and will be forever be remembered in the minds of people. Now, who here can list any 2 or 3 of their children? Anyone here? This buttresses my point. If we choose to look at it in the pessimistic and unrealistic side of view, then we can conclude their children were bad people who chose not to uphold their parents' legacy and chose to leave their parents' legacy to crumble to ashes. But if we choose to look at it in the more positive and more realistic side of view, then we can conclude that these children were brave people who were able to make a name for themselves away from their parents' legacies, away from their parents' achievements, and in turn leaving their footprints in the sands of time. I come from a family of 6 medical doctors and an engineer, all great at what they do. And thankfully, I have a family that push me and supports me to achieve my dreams and go for my endeavors. But what of the unfortunate and unlikely majority who don't have that? The people who are not given the room to dream. The people who are not given the room to shed their own light and to come into their own person. South Korea has 6% of the world's most depressed children. And statistics show that Korean parents start training their kids from kindergarten age to be able to get into Seoul National University medical program. Is this fair? This is clipping their wings before they even learn to fly, not allowing them to choose their future career and to make their own personal life decisions. Malia Obama was once asked in an interview if she would like to follow in her father's footsteps and pursue politics. She gave a loud and resounding no that shook the studio and got the interviewer to his feet. Now, what do we see as outsiders? The splendor and glamour associated with being an Obama. In fact, who here wouldn't sell an arm or a limb to be the cousin of the sister of the great-grandfather of Obama when he was president? I'm sure even I would. But we can assume all Malia saw was the struggles and turmoils of being pulled out of middle school at the tender age of 11 to follow her father on political rallies and campaigns. We can assume all Malia saw was being forced out of her shell, even though naturally introverted at heart. If I am to list the number of people who haven't been given the room to dream and whose shoulders have carried other people's burdens, then I probably would never ever leave this stage today. But please indulge me and listen to more. Prince Harry was always tagged as the wild child of Buckingham Palace, someone who just couldn't sit still and get his priorities in order. But I actually don't see him that way. I see him as a brave man who was able to stand up for what he loves and who he loves, and to be able to make a name for himself away from being the 6th in line to the British throne, away from being the spare. I would like to refer back to an example I made at the beginning of my speech. Martin Luther King Jr. and his I Have a Dream speech. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't say, my great-grandfather had a dream. He didn't say, my father had a dream. He said, I have a dream. He had a dream that he saw for America, a dream that he wanted to come into fruition, something we can see playing out in America today. I've been going to abroad with all of these examples. Let me come back to Africa, Nigeria, our home, where we're from. Did you know the famous reggae and blues musician Fela Kuti actually came from a family of medical doctors, a reverend pastor, and an activist? Yes, someone that is wildly renowned for his music actually came from such a family. He had the courage to live his own legacy away from the standard and the norm of those days. And now, what is the Kuti family remembered for? His mother's activism, his father's pastorship, his siblings' medical degree? No. Fela Kuti's family is forever remembered for his music and the impact he was able to leave on the music world. There's a saying by William Shakespeare that has always stood out to me, and I would like to share it with you all today. And it goes, some people are born great, some people achieve greatness, and some people have greatness thrust upon them. And it's a third category that intrigued me, the people who have greatness thrust upon them, the people whose shoulders were made to carry other people's burdens. My dear audience, I'm not just here to tell you about people who are not given the room to dream, people who could not live their own legacy. I'm here to ignite that fire of passion, that torch of inspiration that is within each and every one of us sitting here today. Ignite, the key word in my sentence and our theme for today. Thomas Edison failed 99 times before the invention of the light bulb. 99 astounding times. And in those times, he was laughed, he was mocked at, because people of the world are mean. He could have pursued any other career. He could have been a doctor, a stables keeper, anything he wanted to be. But he chose to leave his own legacy, to pursue his own dreams and his own endeavors. And when he finally succeeded, what did he say? He said, I did not fail 99 times. Rather, it took me 100 times to perfect my invention, and in those 100 times, I only found 99 times that you could make a mistake. If he isn't a great man with a great legacy, then I don't know who is. Not only did he figuratively ignite and light that torch of a legacy and passion within him, he literally ignited every single room in the world, even the room we stand in today. A legacy is a great and amazing thing that I'm sure everyone here would like to acquire. I'm sure everyone here would like to have. In fact, who here would want to leave this place without a legacy, would want to leave the world without a legacy, would just want to be, I'm so person, I lived, I died. That isn't a legacy, it's merely even an existence. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me rephrase that question. Who here wants to leave the world with a bang, something for them, a legacy that they'll be forever remembered for? Please raise your hand if you do. I'll raise my hand too, because I also want to leave the world with a legacy, something that I would be forever remembered for, not just for being someone's sister or brother or aunt or anything. I want to be remembered for the light that I shed on the world. I want to be remembered for something great that I did. I want to be remembered as Mimi Fatima Sani Mbata, the great whatever I choose to be. I want to leave my own legacy.